Once upon a time, there was a witch named Jessica. She lived with her charming husband and her adorable dog, Tilly. She loved old books, flowers, and karate chopping pillows with ruffles on the edges. But she also loved all things spooky, like skulls, Ghostface, and the Headless Horseman. Welcome to her humble abode. To prepare for spooky season, Jessica put on her best fall clothes and began decorating her home. She started in her entryway, the place that everyone would see first when they walked in. She put her favorite spooky season purses on display on the hooks before getting started with the table. Once Jessica got the creepy cloth down, she got to work on the gothic entryway table of her dreams, sticking to a mostly black palette with hints of fall and the Headless Horseman, which is one of her spooky season favorites. She put down this dusty fantasy book with a sword and beautiful fall leaves on top of one of her all-time favorites. She decided to put a skull and some of her other witchy things, like a sand timer and a potion. One of her favorite finds this spooky season was this adorable little ghost candle. She finished off by adding a lantern, a black pumpkin, and a haunted house to the bottom of the entryway table. Once satisfied with the entryway, Jessica moved on to the living room, changing out the pictures in her gallery wall. She also turned on her sconces for some mood lighting. She then got to work on perfectly placing her carefully selected spooky season pillows, of which her husband says she has too many, but she thinks that's a silly little notion. Just look at this jack-o'-lantern pillow. It lights up. And she definitely couldn't have passed up on the life-size skeleton pillow. Their goddaughter even named him Jack. Up next was the coffee table. She placed a cute little table runner down. Then she placed an apple-scented candle inside of her jack-o'-lantern bucket to chase away the smell of her potions. The witch Jessica tried a couple of different flower arrangements to see which one she liked better. She ended up going with the second one. Then she moved on to decorating the bookshelves. She was sure to include things that she loved, like family photos of all of them in their Halloween costumes over the years, old books, flowers, skulls, skeletons, and of course the headless horseman. Now it's important to remember that Jessica loves old books. This includes some ancient books. And she's also a witch, so it's very important to not speak Latin in front of the books. As a reminder, Jessica put a sign up so none of her guests would be mistaken and accidentally cast a spell that nobody wanted to be cast. The witch already had some nice decor up from fall, but she wanted to make it a bit more spooky, so she added some black florals, a black pumpkin, and a creepy golden black skull. After the nice garland was laid out, Jessica added some black florals to it to make it a touch more spooky. She also added another black pumpkin to this space and another creepy golden black skull. Jessica was attempting to put up her floating hats and candles again this year, but she was having difficulty because she was short. She gave up on that spot for a moment and called in her charming husband for some help. While Jessica was trying to figure out where she placed the hats and candles last year, her husband was trying to get signal by the window because her internet had gone out from the hurricane. He also didn't know that she was filming.
I'm filming.
While the charming husband continued to try to get signal, the witch figured she'd try again. But it didn't work out. Jessica still couldn't reach to hang the hat from the ceiling, so it was time for the charming husband to hop into action.
I can't reach. I need your help.
He jumped up to help the witch, his wife, and tried to hang it from the ceiling, and he dropped the hat. His wife instructed him to pick it up, and he tried again. This time, he succeeded. But then, finally, the hat stayed up. But the witch couldn't help but wonder why she was hanging the hats up in the first place. This is what muggles do. Why didn't she just cast a spell to make them float for real? Who knows, but she persisted anyway. The last thing that she had to do before she moved into the dining room was put together her old friend Ghost Malone, her DIY tomato cage ghost that her husband named. The witch began decorating her dining room as Ghost Malone watched from the corner. She added some creepy cloth to this shelf, and then she was going to display a bunch of her potion bottles, as well as a candy dispenser full of mini skulls and some spell books. Now that her potion bottles were on display and her Haunted Mansion picture was hanging up, Jessica was ready to get to work on the dining room table. After she got done with the centerpiece, she decided she was going to put her magic to use. first, her spell wasn't working. So then, she tried again. And again. And it finally worked. Finally, she was adding Nicholas ribcage as the final touch to this space. It was time for the witch to move on to decorating her kitchen. She started off by adding some creepy cloth to her fall market sign above the stove. She decided to leave her tea kettle and her pumpkin pie dish because they're just too cute to take off the stove, and they go with the theme anyway. She hung up her Pottery Barn dupe hand towels from Martha Stewart at HomeGoods, and she moved on to the corner by the fridge where she added a fall picture, a zombie girl bust, and a pumpkin candle. No spooky kitchen is complete without some spooky fall mugs, so the witch added a ghost mug and 2 pumpkin mugs to her coffee station, as well as another towel that matches the one hanging from the stove, and a picture of a ghostie holding a beautiful bouquet of flowers. After her coffee station was done, she decided that she needed to put all of her Halloween mugs on display to use every single morning. This included jack-o'-lantern mugs, ghost mugs, a bat mug, and a pumpkin spice mug. Along with pillows, her husband also thought that she had too many mugs. But again, this is just a silly notion. How can you pass up all these ghosties and jack-o'-lanterns? On the bar area, the witch put some bleeding candles in a candelabra, but don't worry, it's not real blood. Or is it? To finish off this spooky season kitchen, Jessica put some pumpkin cookies into this pumpkin-shaped jar to go next to her ghosty cookies in her cake stand. Now that the witch was on the last room of the house to decorate for spooky season, she was kind of tired and over it, so she decided to look for a spell that would make the room decorate itself. She read the instructions, cast the spell, and bippity boppity boo. The room started decorating itself. Jessica was so pleased with how the room turned out, and she didn't have to lift a finger. But what's this? The laundry wasn't done. She thought that would get done when the room was decorated, but apparently the spell doesn't do dirty laundry. Well, maybe next year.